Episode 1. First thing that I've got to do, and something that doesn't seem to be covered in the books, is getting the actual engine into the workshop. It's not actually got that far to go, but the engine hoist that I have won't wheel across the riven flags, and the short length of the boom means that I won't be able to get it through the doorway anyway. Then that leaves me with the challenge of getting the engine onto the bench. As mentioned on the last episode, I boxed it up all ready to be sent to a professional engine builder, but lack of funds put a stop to that. So it's been stored outside for a while, and even though I've had a sheet over it, it's still been partly open to the elements. And if you know me well enough, you'll know spiders and insects freak me out big time. So not only do I have the issue of working out how to get the engine into the workshop, I've also got to deal with my phobia of creepy crawlies, and I'm not actually sure what's worse. So I unwrapped it with caution. The wood is absolutely soaking wet, and straight away I saw hundreds of insects, and obviously I'm not happy about that. So I thought before I get it into the workshop, I'm going to have to put a hose pipe on it and hopefully try and get rid of some of them. Moving it by sliding the pallet wasn't too bad, it was just tiring because for a small unit it's really heavy. Someone told me it weighs around 90 kilograms, someone else said around 130 kilograms. I'm not actually sure what the correct figure is, but it definitely feels heavy. I unscrewed the wood so that I could wash it in situ. But I was a bit concerned that all the oil that comes off might stain the flags, so I ended up dragging it onto the drive, which at the moment is just concrete. I had a tin of gunk engine cleaner lying around, so I applied a little bit of that on with a small brush, and that did clean it a little bit. But I've not gone mad with the stuff, as I'll clean it better once everything's apart. My main priority at this point was just to wash off all the insects, a little bit of dirt, and get it off this rotting pallet. So the plan is now to get the engine onto this new pallet to dry off, and give it a quick clean with a rag. Then I'll attach my engine hoist hooks to the engine, and with the aid of a rope, lift it with a plank of wood. We're currently in a lockdown area, so there's a ban on anyone visiting the house, so I thought it might be possible for me and my lad to lift it into the workshop, as I'm not able to call on any friends. But unfortunately that didn't work, it was far too heavy, but in all fairness, he is only 12. So I came up with a plan B. I decided to try and drag it to the door and slide it up a makeshift ramp. I'll be honest, it took some doing it, and it didn't help that I'd hurt my back trying to lift it earlier. But eventually I got it into the workshop. Now all I had to do was lift it onto the bench. Well, this is where I had to give up, and I had to accept that I just wasn't strong enough. To be honest, I felt a bit of a failure. I'd heard there's people out there who lift these units single-handedly, but I'll admit, this beat me. So I'll just have to separate the major pieces on the floor, and that should allow me to lift them separate and onto the bench to work on. A few people within the groups have asked for close-up pictures of the engine so that they can offer advice on identifying and restoring it. So here's a few pics that should hopefully help. I'm led to believe it's from a mid-80s Metro, and it'll hopefully be a great little unit for the Mini. Prior to making the videos on YouTube, I worked as a firefighter for nearly 20 years, serving my community and helping to save lives and promote the fire safety message. Unfortunately, an accumulation of many upsetting scenes became too much for my mind to cope with, and after years of failed therapy I was retired from the service on the grounds of ill health and signed off medically from any employment. To keep myself busy, both body and mind, I developed an interest in woodworking and car mechanics, and with already having a hobby in filming and music, I combined my interest and started making videos here on YouTube, filming, editing and composing my own music for my woodworking and car restoration channels Smugwood and Smugwood Mini. Unfortunately, to produce such videos comes at a price, and with minimal funds after being retired from employment, I've turned to Patreon to see if there is additional support out there which could allow me to continue making the woodworking and car restoration videos. In return for support, there are various levels which are explained in more depth at the Patreon link below, but includes the chance to win one of my YouTube projects made throughout the year, and also inclusion into random prize draws open to patrons only. In addition, I'd like to thank everybody who already subscribes to my channels, or watches, comments, likes and shares them, as it all goes to help support my channels, and for that I'm really appreciative. It's my hope that I can continue making the videos for the foreseeable future. Thanks once again for your continued support.